What is going on, everyone? Today I'm going to see if I can get my 1949 John Deere MC Crawler running and maybe operating, see if it'll drive. So let's get a closer look at this thing and see what we can get ourselves into. Getting a closer look at this thing here, it looks like it is a 6-volt system here, and everything's complete. The fuel system's all there. Gonna have to go through these hoses and change the filter and everything. The tank is empty, so there's nothing sitting in there, and it's got this super rad Harley-Davidson exhaust on it, so I'm sure that'll sound good. Looks like there's some oil coming out of the little oil bath filter here, and yeah, everything looks complete. Let's go ahead and check the oil on it. It does have oil, so that's good. Right where it's supposed to be. How about the water up here? There is water in there, almost all the way full to the top. You can see the front end here has been ran into a few trees throughout its life. Got the generator over here. Still got both the belts on there. Little custom oil pressure gauge right here, right up to the filter housing. And there's a starter back here, all the wiring, and the voltage regulator. Then back here we have a nice, luscious wood seat, and our custom pipe fitting levers here. This one's original, and then we got a little pipe on here for the handle. You can see our amp gauge is busted out. Who knows if the water temp gauge works. And then looking at the little serial tag here, this one is 10031, and these serial numbers started at 10,001. So this being 31 means it was the 30th one made for production, which is pretty cool. Got all this safety wire holding everything together here. And I do know the rear hub on this tractor is stripped out, so it does not want to roll to the left. Last time I remember messing with this thing, it looks like the axle was welded to the hub in there, but it obviously broke off and doesn't work. So maybe I can address re-welding it, or just taking the whole axle out and trying to find parts and replace that. But today's project is just going to be see if I can get it running, see if it'll move forward and back and whatnot, and see where that gets us. So let's go round up some tools and a battery, some fuel, and bring that out here and see if we can get this thing going. All right, back out here by the tractor, I got our 8-volt battery out of the Plymouth, and a bag full of tools and some hose and whatnot. But first things first, let's get this cover off of here. This tractor has been sitting for a very long time with no cover on the air filter, so I'm sure this is full of water. And I'm going to pull this off, make sure there's no water in the carburetor and the intake or anything. Yeah, it's full of water. Watery oil. Look at that. Let's let that drip out for a while. I'm gonna take the rest of this off here and make sure there's nothing that got all the way up and into the carburetor. Let's see if we can get this hose off here. This hose is surprisingly still pretty soft. If I can just break it free, wiggle it around. Get this clamp the rest of the way off of there. out of our way. Let's see if we can pry this out of there. There we go. Now I can twist it and get it off the carburetor. There we go. Some green paint flakes in there, but no water or no oil. Looks pretty clean, pretty dry. I'm gonna try to run it without the oil filter or the oil bath filter and just run that hose on here with the 90 so I can spray stuff in it and it'll get plenty of airflow that way. I got some new fuel line here, some 5/16, so we can get rid of this crusty old fuel line. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these fittings off, get this line off of here, and then we'll put a little bit of fuel in the fuel tank and see if that bowl will fill up or if it's gonna leak or what's gonna happen with that. So let's get that fuel line swapped real quick. Pull these off of here. That one there. Okay, let's throw some fuel in here. Let's see if it don't come out all over the place. Yep, it's coming out over there. Okay, our petcock works. I was able to shut that off. Throw some more in here. Alright, got a decent amount in there for now. Alright, let's get the fuel line on here, reconnect this, and see if we can get some fuel down to the carburetor. This hose is a little bigger diameter than what I need, but luckily we have clamps. Alright, that'll work. Before I stab myself in the hand, get this one over here. I need to find a clamp for this side over here. I don't know what happened to it. It must have fell off when I was taking the fuel line off. I went scavenging through the shop and I found a clamp, since I couldn't find the one that came off of here. So let's get this new clamp on there, get the fuel line installed, get this all tightened up. That's the wrong screwdriver. There we go. Get this all tightened up and see if we can get some fuel to the carburetor without it leaking everywhere. Let's go ahead and get our battery switched out here. See if we can get this terminal off. There we go. And I'm gonna cut our little battery tie down here out of there. Just cut that off. Let's see if we can get that off of there. There we go. Now beat the hell out of it. Okay. Slide that back up into place. Put our imaginary battery tie down there. Alright, our little switch here has off, low, high, and lights. I'm just going to stick it on high. And then we've got our key to pull. Let's go ahead and see if this thing will crank when I pull on it. It's doing something. There we go. She cranks. So let's get some fuel in there and see if it won't fire off. Okay, let's get some starting fluid in there. And turn the throttle back off. And see if it won't fire up. Nothing yet. Let's pull these spark plugs out, see if we're getting any spark. Got two different plug wires on there. Looks pretty fouled. It's all black. Another one out over here. There we go. That's an old school AC spark plug on there. So let's get this thing cleaned up real quick and then see if it's sparking. Just gonna use my brass wire wheel on here. No spark out of that one. You see this one here. No spark there either. I did notice our oil pressure gauge going up, so that's a good sign. Okay, I couldn't find my points file anywhere, so I'm just gonna use a wire brush and try to get in there and clean them up. Alright, with the key back on, we can flick the points. You can see it sparking there. So now we know we got spark there. Let's throw this back together and see if it'll fire up. Got some good spark out of there. So now let's just throw the spark plugs back in the engine. Barely see up in there. I told myself I wouldn't forget which way these went, but I forgot. But if I remember correctly, they did cross each other. So this one go over here. And this one will go over here. These aren't the best fitting wires, but they should get the job done for now. Let's get the last bit of starter juice up in there that we got. And turn our fuel back on. Let it leak everywhere. Let's turn the key on, see if it won't fire off. That's not the fuel that we just sprayed in there. Got fuel leaking everywhere. But she's a runner. She's about ready to start plowing the old field out here. Get this place looking good. Even got the old PTO spinning back here. Go. See if I remember how to use this thing. seems to be working good, minus that rear hub. This thing is just too much fun to drive around on. As you could probably see, I was only able to go left and left because the left rear hub is broken, so the left side has no power to the track. So I was kind of just fighting it with the clutch, trying to get it to turn and go straight for as long as I could. I was able to figure out how to get the left track to sit still when I go in reverse, so I can kind of pivot in circles and whatnot, but pretty fun getting to move it around after all these years seeing it sit here. Now it really wants me to, that pushes me to want to get that hub fixed so I can really drive it around and use this thing to plow the field around here. Retire the old Kubota and use this thing what it was built for. Well, I think that'll pretty much do it for this video. Happy to see this thing running again and get it back out here and working, put it back to work. So pretty much a little rundown what we did. Just changed the plug wires to some other ones I found in the shop. Cleaned the points. Took the air filter off because it was full of water. And you can still see it over here dripping and running down. And then the bowl, the glass bowl on the petcock is leaking. So that's going to need to get changed. And put a new fuel filter in there. We'll need to do that. And we got a bunch of wasps living in the under the hood, so I don't want to hang around here too long. I gotta put my battery back out for the Plymouth, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just got to get this hub back here fixed. If anybody knows where I can find some parts for this thing, because from what I've done my little bit of research, is they're pretty scarce and hard to find stuff. But I'm not worried about digging into this thing and tearing it apart to put a new hub on there. So whatever I got to do to get it done. I've had this left track off before, messing with the hub, seeing if I can fix it, but that didn't work. So I think I'm gonna have to replace the little axle shaft that goes in there and the hub itself. So if I could just find a hub somewhere, that'd be awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching this one. Had a lot of fun doing it. But let's see what we can get unburied or brought back to life next time. See you guys later.